Koalas evolved identical fingerprints to humans, despite splitting from our ancestors more than 70 million years ago. A researcher at the University of Adelaide discovered this in the mid-1990s, and the overlap is close enough that contamination at a crime scene is a genuine theoretical concern. This is convergent evolution, where two completely different species arrive at the same solution from totally different starting points, this time solving the problem of grip. And those fingerprinted hands have another trick. Koalas have two opposable thumbs on each front paw instead of a thumb and forefinger. That double thumb setup works like a vise on eucalyptus branches and lets them grip trees even while they're sleeping so they don't fall out. They need that grip because they live almost their entire lives in the eucalyptus trees, eating leaves that are toxic to most animals. Out of more than 600 eucalyptus species in Australia, koalas have adopted to eating about 50 of them, and they can tell which individual leaves are more toxic than others using their sense of smell, which is good because eucalyptus is all they eat. The leaves don't provide much energy, so koalas have adapted a very slow lifestyle, not moving much, conserving every bit of energy they can. Baby koalas survive their first months by eating something called pap. It looks like they're eating poop, but it's not regular feces. It's a thick paste that comes from the mother's cecum, a separate digestive organ, and it's loaded with bacteria the baby will need to digest eucalyptus. Without that bacteria, eucalyptus would be toxic to the babies, and they wouldn't be able to continue the lifestyle. At about 6 months old, the joey pokes his little head out of the pouch and starts eating the pap directly from the mother. Koalas have been around for about 30 million years in some form or another. There have been around 20 different species of koalas, and they've all gone extinct except this one version. At one time, several different species of koalas were living simultaneously across the Australian outback, eating eucalyptus leaves. Europeans discovered them in the 1790s and officially classified them by 1816. By 1888, people wanted koala fur hats and coats. Between 1888 and 1927, 8 million koalas were killed for the fur trade. They're small animals, about the size of a small dog, so it takes a lot of koalas to make a coat. They're adapted to a lifestyle with low predation, so they're slow-moving and they just sit there and watch you walk up to them. The mighty hunters would walk up and shoot 10 or 20 of them at a time because they're all sitting right there in the same tree, and they don't react, they don't run away, and they don't even scatter. About 80% of koalas carry chlamydia, but that number needs some unpacking. It's believed they got chlamydia from sheep, and the thinking is that the chlamydia was shed by the sheep in their feces, and koalas were exposed when they came down out of the trees. That 80%, though, includes different forms of chlamydia in different parts of the body. The urogenital strain that causes blindness and reproductive problems is only in about 40% of them. They're working on a vaccine, but so far it's not effective. The idea is to vaccinate 10% of the breeding females so they can reproduce fast enough to survive the current mortality levels from the chlamydia. But they already had some form of chlamydia, and the researchers have already found some populations with natural immunity developing. When they vaccinate and isolate populations, they reintroduce a population that has no natural immunity, and that slows down the natural development, slows down the evolution of nature's solution to the problem. Their numbers are in the hundreds of thousands across different populations. With the 30 other species of koalas that are already extinct, this means that no matter what we do, this animal either has to adapt to the new climate and the new predation, or it's going to disappear forever. Current threats include habitat loss, bushfires that took out huge chunks of their trees in one season, feral dogs, and automobiles.